last night when she turned her left ankle, still ended up the game with 17 points, 5 assists. But when she turned her left ankle in the second quarter, it was like a collective pause for the entire WNBA. I felt like maybe there was an earthquake outside here in Southern California. The fear of what could happen to her this early. And as she said, everyone experiences an ankle sprain in basketball. But it reminded me of the conversation that we had with Sue Bird here on the show. And if you want to hear that conversation, go to the YouTube page and pull it up. But I feel like there's a little bit of almost like a level of resentment from some of the other players in the league saying, we existed before this. Mm-hmm. How do we rationalize the phenomenon that she is coming in with the other women that have said, we've had game for years here?
Yeah, this is a really interesting conversation because I played against Sue, and if I was picking a starting point guard on my team, there's so many. I mean, Lindsay Whalen, you go on, the list goes on. Becky Hammond, Sue would be my starting point guard. I mean, she's brilliant. There's a reason she played so long, the way she took care of her body. But she had success early. She had Lauren Jackson, right? She had a number of players around her that were really good in Seattle. It aligned there for her. But I think when you're talking about the animus from older players to now, here's what's really remarkable. And I get it. I totally get it. I don't know if they're directing it at Caitlyn Clark, but I think when you're and I hesitate to use the word pioneer, but when you are, how many Olympic gold medals does Sue have? How many does Taurasi have? How many does Lisa Leslie have? Dawn Staley? We forget the WNBA, Suzy, was established back in the late 90s. It launched on the court in 1997. I was a freshman at the University of Oklahoma. We're talking about a 27-year-old league. Now, some may argue, that's not very old, right? We're still growing. We're talking about a league that has had to go through so much that now we have charter flights this season. Thank you, Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner. Thank you to the league for this. Why did it take this long? When I played, we had back-to-back games because what they do is take the NBA schedule and almost mimic it in a condensed version in the WNBA. You're playing a 7:00 game. You're transitioning. You have to be on, per the league rules, I don't know what they are or were now or were prior to this change in the chartered flights, but you have to be on a certain flight the next day that gets you in early enough to be able to settle in and be able to play the next night. That is so hard on your body, but we just did it. We went through airports, flew commercial, and it's not that players, we don't want to fly commercial. It's when you're able to get on a charter flight that night, you get to bed there that night, and boom, you're better off the next day to make the product better. We're talking 27 years, Suzy. And when you look at Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, I remember the first WNBA press conference, I believe it was Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, and I think Cheryl Swoops. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But then all of a sudden you have this Caitlyn Clark wave. I do think she does things differently on the court. And I think that's a big part of it. When we talk about these logo bombs that she shoots, and she had one in her last game, it's so cool to watch. I think it's like when Steph Curry started shooting the ball, people were like, wait, he's not even near the line. What's going on? She's doing things differently. And I think that has to be accounted for. But what I like about it is it forces us and people out there to have conversations bigger than this year. Remembering how good and how long Sue played and how good Diana Taurasi still is. And Tamika Catchings is the toughest player I've ever played against. It's really forcing us to have a greater conversation about all of the Hall of Fame players and legends that have played in the WNBA, and take a deeper look at that. But listen, you're going to take your lumps when you're a rookie. It ain't easy. I was lucky as a rookie because I joined a really good team that was playoff bound. When I joined the Chicago Sky, the inaugural team of the Chicago Sky, and scored our first basket, we were awful. I don't think we won 5 games. So you're going to take your lumps in this league, and a lot of times that happens when you're a rookie.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.